The Chicago Bulls hold on to get the win over the Washington Wizards. They snap a 3-game losing streak that saw all of Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and DeMar DeRozan all score over 20 points. We'll break it all down and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
The Chicago Bulls have snapped a 3-game losing streak. They saw them play some of the most solid defense we've seen from this team for 4 quarters in a while. Now, there were some definitely issues on the offensive end of the ball. The Bulls had way too many turnovers in this game, having 19 turnovers. Now, the Washington Wizards also did have 18 turnovers. And then the free throw discrepancy was huge in this game. 29 free throws to the Bulls' 17 free throws. But despite all of that, the Bulls shooting 50% from the field, 43% from three-point range. The Bulls got 29 assists on 45 made baskets. As we know, when they get closer to 30 assists, the better that they play. They win the rebounding battle also in this game, 41-38. The Bulls played overall one of the most solid games we've seen from them since the start. The Bulls come out with energy in this game. You can tell they wanted to set the tone early, getting out to a 10-point lead in that first quarter. Did not hold on to that, but they held on for the victory, which is the only thing that mattered in this game. DeMar DeRozan shakes off a bad first half to end up scoring 27 points, leading the Chicago Bulls in points. Vooch plays a pretty solid game throughout. He has 25 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. A hell of a game from Nikola Vucevic. Zach LaVine also 8 for 19. Still not the best shooting night, but much better, especially from 3, where he was 5 for 9 from three-point range, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Well, Zach LaVine has been averaging close to 2 steals per game over the last 5 games, so shout out to that for Zach. And 25 points from Zach LaVine. The bench chips in 22 points overall from the bench as well. Patrick Williams has a pretty solid game, 5 for 8 from him, 11 points. This was the way that I would say that we want to see the Chicago Bulls play. Eliminate the turnovers, and you're looking at a team that with which the Washington Wizards got over 20 points off Chicago Bulls turnovers. If the Bulls can get those turnovers down some, they're going to score more on top of that because they're going to have more possession, so this score could have been even higher. But this is outside of the turnovers, this is the way that the offense should run for the Chicago Bulls, pushing the pace a little bit more, not letting the defense set up, moving the ball around, way better ball movement in this game. Now, we did still have periods where the ball movement did slow down, the offense did slow down and stop at some points. But again, not a perfect game, but a really good, solid building block win at home against the Washington Wizards. So many things and so many key plays in this game where it took other players stepping up. Ayo Dosunmu as well is starting to just figure out how when he pushes the pace, it's going to allow him to get to the rim. And we're seeing Ayo Dosunmu finish around the rim pretty solidly as well. Kobe White in this game, only 6 points, didn't do too much. He played 17 minutes, had a solid defensive game. He still ended up with a positive plus-minus, but Alex Caruso leading the team in plus-minus in this game as well. 17, as far as plus 17 for the plus-minus 17, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 steals from him, only 1 turnover. And for the people who always ask, why is Alex Caruso playing so many minutes? It's because he impacts the game in ways more than just scoring. And we saw that tonight, getting out in transition buckets with P. Will, Zach LaVine at times. Like, Alex Caruso just had his head up on a swivel, playing solidly all night tonight. This was a really good field win. I've said this before. I said this coming into this game. The one thing, I didn't care how they got it done. I didn't care the way they got it done. I didn't care how pretty or how ugly it was. The Bulls needed a win tonight at home. They now moved to 6-5 at home. They're 10-14 on the season. We know that the Bulls are getting to a point from now to the end of the season. The Bulls actually have the second easiest schedule in the NBA from now to the end of the season. We need to start seeing them take advantage of that, start stringing some wins together. This is hopefully the first in a solid stretch of wins. They face the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday, so we have a nice little break. They should be pretty well rested before we go into a back-to-back against Dallas at home and Atlanta in Atlanta before we come back to face New York 2 times, both at home, next Wednesday and next Friday. The Bulls killed this game. This is what we wanted to see from this team. This is what we needed. Yes, the referee, the officiating sucked in this game. Let's be clear here. but the Bulls still got the win. Now, had they got the loss, it would have been a completely different thing. But at the end of the day, the Bulls stepped up. We got the wins we got the win that we needed, and we got performances from our big three. Is this the first time this season where our big three has all scored over 20 points in a win? I feel like it has been. This was a good win. Even got DeMar, king of the fourth, back being the king of the fourth. All right, that's enough of me talking. I started off the first 5 minutes of this stream just talking. Let's go ahead and get into the comments, see how you guys feel about this win. Crazy Me says, GG, what's going on, fam? Markel in the building says, as the late, great James Brown once said, I feel good. I feel that for sure, brother. Chris 430 says, Caruso doing what he does best. Absolutely. Absolutely. Key says, good team basketball. Big three all scored 20 plus. This is what we need to see every night, and we need to decrease them turn. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alana says, finally. Laughing my ass off. Absolutely. Ghost Low says, great offensive rebound. Yeah, some key plays down the stretch. Vooch defending the rim down the stretch in the way that we needed, right? DeMar getting a big rebound down the stretch. Like, just some big plays down the way to really seal in this game that we haven't seen from the Bulls for a while. Kadaro says, we still too many turnovers. Absolutely. Way too many turnovers. MC Season, an ugly win, but a win is a win. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ghost Low says, we showcased our offensive skills. So yes, we show what we can be offensively when we spread the ball around. Now, I will say this is not to be negative, but some of the Bulls' best offensive runs did come when DeMar DeRozan was on the bench. But at the end of the day, it's this. When the Bulls needed a bucket, when they got down by 5 late in the game, it was DeMar DeRozan who really brought the team back in many ways, and it was kind of keyed off what he was doing. So can't hate on DeMar too much. He came in when we needed it, but still the offense did kind of stagnate at times when DeMar was out there. After it seemed like they were going on runs when DeMar was on the bench, once he came back, things started slowing down. But like I said, win is a win. We're going to focus on the win today. We'll be breaking down all that extra stuff overall, but let's celebrate the win. That's what we're going to do tonight, is we're going to celebrate the win. Jonathan Aegis in the building says, clutch D and killer baskets by the big three. First time they all showed up late, I feel like. I agree with you. It really does feel like the first time we're down the stretch of the game, our big three all showed up and made key important plays. Even that inbound, where Vooch noticed and got the ball right back to Alex Caruso, that then he moved it on to Zach LaVine, who got fouled and was able to knock down the free throws. Oh, smart plays, just smart plays. They just came in and made the right plays today. Some of these things could have gone left for the Bulls, and we could easily be talking about a loss tonight, but the things went right for the Bulls. MJG23, I should say. Is this the first time this season Zach, DeMar, and Vooch all scored 20 plus in the season? No, I think earlier in the season, maybe Zach only scored 18 in that game. I feel like we got close to it early in the season, but I think it came in a loss. But I could be wrong on that. Definitely could be wrong. Glad we won, but to win by 4 when they missing players, got to clean some things up. Good win to build off of. C-Red. Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it's this. The Bulls needed to win. I don't care what how many players they were missing, because we know with the way the Bulls have been playing, they can lose any game. So we'll see. We'll see. I do like that they got this win in. Did Amar on one of his D's back? Nah, still not, because he sucked on D mostly. He did play much better on defense down in the stretch in the fourth quarter. Samir, Io and Drummond off the bench was good. Oh, agreed. Drummond be feeling himself a little bit too much from time to time. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do. There was literally, I think it was Patrick Williams in the corner was wide open, and Drummond tried to throw it up and then catch his own rebound and dunk it. It's like, hey, bro, Patrick Williams was sitting right in, I think it was Patrick Williams, sitting right in the corner, bro. Come on, man. Melvin says, good win. I just wish it wasn't this close to a team without 2 big players, but I'll take any win I can at this point. Crazy it took until December to get our 10th win. Wild, right, fam? Wild. Is it just me, or does Alex seem to always play better at home? Finally, our big three had a big offensive night. I'd have to look into that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'd have to look into that. SP says Detroit may have Eminem, but we got a better white boy in Caruso. Wow. Is this what we doing? That's crazy. Nice to see the big three playing well. With that being said, free Dalen Terry. Listen, he's a rookie. Like, keep in mind, some of the best rookies don't play. Like, let him build the skill. Like, I know we want to see him. We're anxious to see him. You can see him down in the Windy City Bulls where he be killing it. He literally kills it down there. And I understand. I want to see him too. I told you guys before. I want to see it as well. But at the end of the day, it's this. This team, like with the way they're trying to compete, they're just not playing him. They're going to allow him this season to try to build himself up. And I do expect that he's going to be playing a lot next season. Just trust me when I say, do not be surprised at all if Dalen Terry's playing a lot of key rotational minutes for us next season. Ugly win, but glad the team stayed the course. Yeah, they weathered the storm. Times when they would not have weathered the storm in a case like this. Alana, also funny how this was a bad game for DeMar, but he still finished with 27 on 52% shooting and a good block and a couple of steals and it was a bad first half. The second half almost had no holes in it. I can't almost anything bad that I said about DeMar DeRozan came in the first half. Second half, much better. We're a much better second half team in general. I wish we would have got the lead back up higher, but at the end of the day, a win is a win is a win. Cap lives. Ugly win, but glad to see I read that one already. Julian says, those fouls on Drummond were sus. Listen, the referees at the end of the day is this. Like, the officiating this season has been wild, bro. Like, and again, not just against the Bulls. I watched so many basketball games, like, it's been some ugly refereeing for sure. No cap, this Diva guy has my respect. Bro clocked and didn't cry a bit about it. Yeah, got clocked. Listen, in his defense, that man plays defense, bro. Like the way that he got in DeMar DeRozan's head, you saw DeMar DeRozan get frustrated at one point. DeMar just wanting to you could tell he just wanted to put it to Denny. And Denny, for the most part, stood up and played solid defense throughout. He guarded Zach. He guarded DeMar. He guarded Patrick Williams on some possessions. Hey, Denny is balling. Jerome Davis says, Haize, we need that Zach every night. Oh, hats off. Absolutely. But like I said before, Zach has put together now 6 solid games for sure. Hamid says, now Billy D needs to tell them, how did that happen? D and move. That's what I said to her. See how did that happen? The D in the movement. If I don't see those two things from you, I'm going to have to sit you down. I agree with you, bro. 100% agreed with you. Vaughn says, I'll be at the Bulls versus Mavs game, so automatic win for the Bulls. Bet it. Well, I hope that's true, Vaughn. I hope you're not bringing some of that Jamal from Bull Central energy where every time he goes to a game, the Bulls get completely mollywopped. So let's hope that that's not the case. But, it is what it is there. Richard Crook says, man, it's a love-hate thing with D-Ball. I can see why some people want him traded because he does slow the pace, but he saves our asses in the fourth quarter. That's why we got to keep him around, period. Definitely feel you on that one. Completely feel you there. Austin in the building. Haven't seen Austin here for a while. That Caruso assist through the legs was wild. Yeah, that was crazy. That's why I posted it here on the shorts tab because I had to. I'm glad the Bulls put these clown wizards in a body bag. I can't say it's a body bag with the way that we only won by 4, but I'm glad they got the win. Nice team win. Hopefully we can go on a long winning streak. Well, let's get the next win first, right? Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves because the Mavs are going to be a tough win for the Chicago Bulls. I know they're struggling as well, but Luka's a monster. This is what happens when you get everyone involved in the offense. Vooch, DeMar, Zach played well, and Pat was aggressive when they passed it to him. Yeah, and they missed him. They missed Pat. There are some times where Pat was wide open. Now, Pat also messed up on a couple, but there are some times where Pat was wide open, and they didn't even look towards him. But he hit the shots. He hit the ball at a good shot when he finally did take it. Reginald says, it does slow down. You see it, that shit too. Yeah, I mean, you see when the thing slows down. All right, let's see. This is the first time I ever seen Zach actually try to go for the kill and ice the game. He missed the heat check, but I was proud. Oh, this is the first. I don't know where you've been, Zach. This is definitely not the first time Zach's done this. It's definitely not as in his time with the Bulls. Zach has done that a few times in his time with the Bulls. But I feel you. It was still good to see. It was definitely good to see this season, and his confidence has been building for sure. Facebook user, win or lose, Bulls all the way, watching from the Philippines. Shout out to you from checking in from the Philippines. Brandy Nicole in the building says, I feel like we need a Marcus Smart call-out moment for any vet on this team right now. This was a terrible win. Hey, a win is a win is a win. That's it. But they'll work it. Let them build on it. Let them build on it. Melvin, yeah, agreed. Andre Drummond needs to stop trying to be flashy and cute with his plays and just play. I'm going to see why Billy Donovan hasn't been giving him many minutes. Yeah. I mean, the difference between the way that Gafford played and the way that Drummond played was clear, right? And that is that Drummond tries that extra stuff that Gafford just doesn't try. Gafford just puts it up strong. That's what we need more from Drummond. Don't get me wrong. There's some times where Drummond does that extra stuff, and it's fun, especially when we're playing with the lead. I get it. But when we're trying to get a tough win, cut all that cute shit. Zach catching fire with threes was sick. Also, do you think Dalen Terry is going to be a good NBA player? From what I've seen, I think he's going to be, good is a good one. I think he's going to be a good, well-rounded NBA player and the thing is Dalen Terry's work ethic. If anybody's going to hit their max potential, it'll be a player like Dalen Terry. Just practice some patience with Dalen Terry. Even next season when he does play more minutes for the Chicago Bulls, or if it comes later in this season, whenever it comes, just be patient. Dalen Terry is going to be one of those players that hopefully adds to his game every single year. It's going to be 3-4 years of Dalen Terry playing consistent minutes before we really see him hit his peak. But, it's going to be fun from now between then. Definitely going to be fun between now and then. I noticed Vooch was showing his post moves more. I wish the Bulls would use that more. Hey, listen, you're preaching to the choir here. Definitely preaching to the choir. Woj just reported a possible Anthony Davis for dashing donut trade. Let that go down then. Let it go down. Reginald Short, do you agree with Zach, Pat, the designer, that Zach's defense is steadily improved? Also, what do you think of Billy's substitution and game management? Well, Reginald, if you watch that full video, Patrick actually will tell you that most of what he said in that video, he was quoting me and things that me and him talked about. So, yes, Zach LaVine has absolutely improved defensively. Zach has over 5 games this season with a defensive rating sub 100. Keep in mind, lower defensive rating is great. So that is a huge sign. I think he maybe has 5 games like that the whole rest of his career. He's been steadily improving on defense. It's noticeable. Is he still perfect on defense? Is he perfect on defense? No. Does he still have times where he gets blown up off the ball? Absolutely, it happens. But Zach LaVine has steadily made improvements defensively so far this season. Now, as far as Billy's substitution and games management, I liked it for the most part this game. I think Patrick Williams needed to be out there more in some key moments where he wasn't. I also think when you put DeMar DeRozan back in the game and then the Washington Wizards started going on a run, you should have noticed that you needed to do something defensively there. Not necessarily saying take DeMar out, but you needed to do something different as far as the defensive matchups. But overall, there wasn't any glaring scheme issues or anything that I've seen in some of the other games. There were some execution issues, which are more on the players. But overall, I think Billy Donovan did a pretty good job at game management, and his substitutions was pretty solid today. The Education Jane says, everyone like and subscribe. You already know what to do. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. As we continue to grow the channel, pushing towards 10,000 subscribers on the channel as well. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. Melvin says, the Bulls have a calmer schedule this month. Notice I didn't say easier schedule, considering you don't know what you're going to get from this team on a nightly basis. Hope we get 19 to 20 wins by the new year. I mean, we're in 10 now. We should. I mean, and I say that by knocking on wood and everything, but with the way that the schedule is easing up for the Chicago Bulls, at least on paper, they definitely need to go on a little bit of a run here. Start putting some things together. Hey, Haize, what lineup do you would get the most from tomorrow while not taking away from Pat and Aya? Excuse me. I talked about it. Over the halftime hangout. Ideally, having DeMar on the bench more. I mean, it just is what it is. I think that opens up the offense some. I think it allows them to have the ball in their hands a little bit more. Is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen, but I do think that will get it. You still got your headphones on. All right, why are you worried about me having my headphones on? If I want to have my headphones on, what if my ears are cold? What are you bothered by my ear and by my headphones, James? You have a fence? You and my headphones beefing? Is that what's happening? Haize, would you trade for Jay Crowder? If so, what would be a good trade? No, only because of the salary. What you would have to give up just to match that salary, I think, is giving up too much for a player that's not playing. And I think that you can wait out the Phoenix Suns. I think that they may buy him out, or even if they tuck it out and wait till next season. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Brandon Peck, my birthday was Monday. There was a time for like 2 minutes where Levine and DeRozan both sat. Billy should do that more and let Pat and Io sink or swim on offense, if that makes any sense. I definitely understand what you're getting at with that. I don't think that they necessarily do that while they're in a losing stretch like this. I think now they're going to try to stack wins. I don't think really right now the thing is going to be to try to force Io to sink or Pat to sink or swim, because right now this Bulls team is really fighting for their lives in a lot of ways. But as things start to settle out more for the Chicago Bulls, especially if they can hold on to big leads, definitely you try to do some crazy stuff like that. Javante has a bone bruise on his, I believe it's the right knee. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a bone bruise. Shay in the building says tonight's game was something to prove for everybody, from Patrick Williams to DeMar DeRozan to everybody. And tonight, AC definitely showed his value for all you haters. I'm not saying all that, because Shay be killing me when you try to get on these cursing streets. Like, Shay cursed like middle schooler when their parents aren't around that curse to sound tough. So just a little shout out to Shay. I'm just messing with Shay. Gio says, Haize, when do you think we hear about a Vooch extension? Still one of the most skillful big men in the game. And, 9 times out of 10, you're getting a double-double, and his passing is elite. Honestly, I'll say this. If Vooch does get a contract extension, I don't know if it comes before, maybe closer to the trade deadline. Because, I think they're going to leave that open. They're going to continue to monitor this team to see if they do need to do something at the trade deadline, if they need to move him while he's an expiring contract. But, if this team improves their play leading to the trade deadline, the Bulls feel like they don't need to make a trade. I think it gets done then. But I think they're going to leave that door open because, hey, yeah, they got to win tonight. But you never know. You never know. Allen, you can't. They say Vooch. It's not boo. It's Vooch. They're Vooch. They're not booing him, man. Come on. DJJ tried to boom on Taj like Taj used to boom. Oh yeah, like he almost. Derrick Jones Jr. almost caught a body, man. I was hoping he was gonna get it, but he almost caught that body. I feel like we always get wins near having 30 assists every game. Yeah, I think last season, were we undefeated if we had 30 or more assists, or we had a great record? I know that much when we had 30 or more assists. So that's why you heard Billy Donovan say ideally he wants his team to have between 5 and 7 players in double digits and between 25 and 30 assists, because when we do that, we typically win. So Alana says that Taj 3. Yeah, Taj has had that 3-point shot. It's crazy. Crazy. People may not like Vucevic. Everybody, what big man can we get out there that does exactly what he does, along with try to attempt to play a little bit of defense? Oh, you don't need, but see, that's the thing, Shay. And while I love Vooch, I love Vooch. I don't think it's likely he's traded, but there are big men that don't necessarily do what Vooch does, but like Porto. Porto is a much better defender, on-ball and off-ball defender, a solid rebounder, a solid passer. He's not the shooter that Vooch is at all. He's still a low post threat. But yeah, I mean, like I said before, Vooch is still one of the top 10 centers in the NBA, probably still top 5 to top 8 centers in the NBA. People just, when players are on your own team, their weakness is a little bit more glaring. But when you have a Vooch like this that definitely kicked it in and played some solid defense at the rim down the stretch, it's tough for any team to match up with that, especially when you have Drummond, if Drummond's locked in as well. So, that's just kind of what it is at this point. Let's see. Great point here. Io's been killing it in driving to the rack. I love to see. Yeah, Io, like, his shooting wasn't the best. Like, from distance, I think he only took 1 3. But when Io puts the ball on the floor, and now he's realizing too, like, hey, he has a quick. Has his first step gotten quicker to you guys as well? Like, he puts the ball on the floor with 1 dribble, and he's at the rim. Like, and so it's just, and he's that little up over layup thing that he's doing has been great. So, yeah, Io's definitely starting to realize how he can be successful scoring in this NBA. Alana, yeah, we need to pass the ball more. Hopefully we don't back to the stagnant offense next game. It always happens. Yeah. One thing, hey, I will say this. One of the things that the Bulls have typically done this season is when they face some adversity, they go back to the heavy isolation, DeMar DeRozan. Even though down the stretch, DeMar DeRozan played great for the Bulls and was the king of the fourth again, it wasn't just DeMar, right? DeMar did his thing. He cooked. But it was other players still doing other things, making other plays. It wasn't just, I'm just going to watch DeMar try to save our bacon. And that felt good for sure. The Education James in the building says, honestly, I think we need a tougher coach. Pop made DeMar stop the constant ISO BS. He was getting criticized on the Raptors the exact same way. Billy always been a coach who loves to ride his stars. Yeah, I mean, I can get what you're saying with that. But at the end of the day, it's this. The Bulls decided to run it back with Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan is going to be the head coach of the Chicago Bulls for a very, very long time with that several years extension. So kind of is what it is there. Haize, appreciate you and the show that I look forward to every game. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for that, man. That's some of the best compliments that you can give me, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are liking the show and enjoying the content here. If you're here and you have not liked the video or subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers as soon as we can. Birthday passed. Luis, I wish the front office would just waive Tony Bradley so it would open up a roster spot for somebody. Well, keep in mind, there's no point in waiving him if there's nobody that they're going to sign. Us as fans can say, waive Tony Bradley and sign Carmelo all day. But if the front office doesn't have plans for Carmelo, there's no point in waiving Tony Bradley. But keep in mind, they can waive him. If they get on the phone call and this trade is 3 players and the Bulls only have to send 2 back, so they need to open a roster spot, they're going to cut Tony Bradley. There's no rush in cutting Tony Bradley. There's no rush from this team to just make an addition to the roster just to make an addition to the roster. So because of that, I mean, it's going to happen when it happens. If it's meant to happen, if the Bulls do decide to bring in somebody else and use an open roster spot, then they can cut Tony Bradley. Until then, it doesn't seem like they plan on adding anybody to that roster spot right now, so no point in cutting them, in my opinion. Bath Lord Payne says, no lie, when I saw everyone was edged up, especially Javante on the bench, I know we were winning no matter what. Hey, listen, the energy here. Definitely the energy here. Keith Don't Miss says, yeah, he's getting fast. That first step is getting quick. And I think it's also the fact that he's moving intentively, right? Like when he does that first step, he's already decided he's going to the rim. And so because of that, he puts his head down, he absorbs contact a little bit better because he's already decided, I'm about to go to the rim and lay this ball up. Why is it that every time a player on the same doesn't give you 10 points, people automatically, a player on the same, on the team maybe, doesn't give you 10 points, people automatically say they're not a good player or they're not having a good game? I don't know what you mean by that, bro. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm looking forward to seeing MVP Luka come to town, put up a triple-double, and see the Bulls build on this and put a winning streak together. Listen, Luka's coming to town. I'm not going to lie to you and say, like, he's just after seeing what, like, and I know they're completely different players, but seeing what, like, Devin Booker did to the Chicago Bulls, the way Luka's playing, hey, man, listen, we're going to have some great point of attack defense when it comes to Luka Doncic. That's it. Double aging another December 5th birthday. Well, thank you, bro. You joined me and Brandon L. Jett in an elite category of December 5th birthdays of the family here at Chicago Bulls Central. So I appreciate you. Happy belated to you as well, brother. I'm glad to have you here, man. All right, let's see what else we got. Reginald Short in the building. What lineup would you play against Dallas? Do you think? Why do you think Maxey isn't getting minutes after signing an extension? I don't know. It's weird. It's odd. But what lineup? I mean, you play your lineup. I mean, at the end of the day, the Bulls are going to ride with. We're not going to make any changes to the starting lineup. And I also think that with the way that Patrick Williams has played, maybe he's earned that starting position back. But I don't necessarily think you make any changes to the lineup. I think you start off the game, you do a mix. I would do a mix of putting Levine on Luka at times, putting Patrick Williams on Luka at times, having DeMar guard Luka in transition, and then you switch on the first possible possession. And then I think Caruso as well is going to spend some time on Luka. I think they're going to try to do what they did to Devin Booker, where they throw a lot of different defenders on it just to mix up the looks, and hopefully it's more successful. But yeah, I really don't think that you make any big changes to the lineup, in my opinion. Gio says, Haize, do you think Kobe is turning the corner and becoming more consistent with getting into the rhythm of the game, not trying to do too much and playing competent defense? Yes, he has all season. Kobe White, as we talked about Zach LaVine being more consistent defensively, Kobe White has been way more consistent defensively. His passing has been consistently better. His decision-making out there has been better. He still does some of those quick things, but outside of that, the shot isn't falling at the rate that I think he or us would like, but outside of that, his ability to put the ball on the floor himself and try to go to the rim, go a little bit more to mid-range, all those things are going for Kobe. I think Kobe he's definitely improving for sure. Anyone know if Coach Ime Udoka is still available? It doesn't matter. The Bulls aren't going for a new coach. But thank God we snapped our losing streak. Also, yo, Haize, you seen the rumors of DeMar and Vooch heading to L.A.? They finna give us Westbrook, so if this does happen, we better turn it down. It's not happening. That trade is not happening. That got started by some Bill Simmons shit. It's not happening. Cap of the Great. For the Bulls, I would like for the Bulls to add a solid point guard and shooter like Max Strus. Bulls won't waive Tony Bradley, as the butter he uses on his hands is important when the team has movie night. Listen, the Bulls don't need any more guards. They don't need any more guards. They do not need any more guards. We just need to get people healthy. If the Bulls trade for a guard, it has to be because one of the guards that are in our rotation are part of the deal, but we still need to bring a big back. We don't need no more guards. No, I just like the trade I did earlier, Vooch for Claxton and Joe Harris earlier. How about Vooch for Maxey Kleber and Tim? Oh, no, keep Tim Hardaway Jr. far off my team. You think Kobe White's inconsistent? Tim Hardaway Jr. had, I think, 2 seasons of being consistent. He got hurt, and it's been all downhill since then. Shamina say, what is it that every time a player on the Chicago Bulls doesn't have at least 10 points, people automatically say they're bad or they're not having a good game? Those are people we call box score watchers. They don't actually watch or understand the game of basketball outside of what they see in the box score. So that's what you typically get because of that. Those are box score watchers. Good to see Zach attack the rim. He looked like a max player tonight. That's for damn sure. And is shooting down the stretch. New to watching the Bulls regularly. Been a wild and messy season so far. Hopefully they can clean it up. That's from Plywood Gaming. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you for coming through. If this is your first time in, make sure you also hit that subscribe button. Haize, what Chicago Bull would you predict to stand out against the Dallas Mavericks? Ooh, that's a really, really good question. Give me a second. Let me take a look at something. That's a really good question, though. I love that question from you. I would say this. Tim Hardaway Jr. is starting a small forward for them right now. I can see them switching and putting Tim Hardaway Jr. on Caruso and having Luka guard DeMar DeRozan. But I'd say DeMar's probably going to have a big game. I also think Patrick Williams can have a big game as well. Dorian Finney-Smith is a solid defender, don't get me wrong. But I think him being 6'7", 220 pounds, size matchup is pretty good. I think Patrick Williams can take him off the dribble if he's allowed to do that. So I'm looking for that as well. But my picks are probably going to be, I'm saying Vooch and DeMar are going to have really, really big games against the Dallas Mavericks, with Zach the next one up after that. And Drummond's probably going to have a big night as well. I think Drummond's going to have a big night as well in the Drummond way, right? Not saying Drummond's going to score like 20, 30 points or anything like that, but he's going to have a big game in his way. Hey, Haize, random question. I just finished watching Blade 98 and was wondering if there was another action movie with two beautiful black actresses playing a significant role. Yeah. Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think. Let me get back. Like, why are you asking me movie things? Set it off. I don't know off the top of my head. God damn it. Well, I'm talking basketball. You asking me about movies. What? You're trying to throw me off my game. Yeah, I was going to say get Zach and Patrick on him to start and see where it goes from there. I like to see Io and Luka. Ooh, the only thing, right, is that Luka has a lot of length, which I guess Io does too. But Luka, I don't. Is Io strong enough to guard Luka Doncic? Probably. Hey, listen, that'd be interesting. You can get a little funky with it. Why not? Why not? Let's see. Box score watchers are the worst. It's like seeing an 8-point Pat game, but he makes every guy he guards pass out. Same issue for Caruso. Gotta watch to know. Oh, listen, I will tell you what. When Patrick Williams tries to, not Patrick Williams. When people try to talk crap about Patrick Williams, I can tell within the first 2 sentences if they actually watch the game or they just watch the box score. One of the guys, like, what's his name? OLM Gaming or something like that, who's in here all the time. He literally go every time, oh, Patrick Williams scored 4 points. And I know he didn't watch the damn game. No, he didn't watch the game. Because Terry's not there is nothing. I'll tell you right now, there is nothing outside of 3 major injuries happen that will get Dalen Terry consistent minutes. It's just not going to happen. I'm not saying that I agree with it. I'm not saying that it's necessarily what I would do or want to see, but that's just what it is at this point. Richard Castro says, hello, Bulls Nation. It's always going to be nice to win again, but my support will always be there whether the Bulls win or lose. Greeting to all from Chile. Well, thank you for joining us from Chile, brother. Remember what Alex Caruso did to Luka last year? That man almost got ejected because he was cursing. This is true. Do you think this is fool's gold and only takes us further away from some big trades that we need? Listen, the big trades aren't happening. The big trades aren't happening. They're not happening. I keep telling you guys that, right? Trust me when I tell you a major trade more than likely is not happening. Now, there could be a trade of moving Vooch because he's an expiring contract if the Bulls continue to struggle. But no, you can't say that this is fool's gold. If you watch this game, the way that this team competed, this isn't fool's gold. This was a win that they worked to do. This is the type of work they need to put in every single game. It's about damn time the Bulls got to win. Thank God. Yes. I mean, listen, 3 losses in a row sucks. Dawson Caruso played a great game tonight. Great defensive game. Caruso's energy and defense changed the outlook of this game, and his passing as well. Completely changed the outlook of this game. No doubt about it. Caruso was a huge impact. Did he finish with the highest plus minus? I think he may have. No. Oh yeah, he did. Alex Caruso finished with the highest plus minus of anybody in this game with plus 15. Every one of the starters had a positive plus minus, so shout out to that as well. The only bench player with the positive plus minus was Kobe White. So yeah. If Javonte was healthy, I would have put him on Luka. I hope Billy feeds Vooch down low against Powell. Yeah, I hope so too. They got to feed Vooch in that game. Have to feed Vooch in that game. The game versus the Mavs last year in the UC was so iconic. That pass from Lonzo to Zach leading to a 360. Oh, that's why it's in the intro of this show. Would trading Vooch for a defensive center hurt the Bulls' offense in the long run? It depends. If you get a center that's focused on defense, that is better defensively, but still can do some scoring and is still a solid passer, it doesn't hurt as much as you would think. But I will say this, if you just get a straight up defensive center, like for the people saying, oh, Andre Drummond should be started, like, you know how many people, I got to go back to that video where I was arguing with somebody who was like, oh, Vooch would be the starting center by the end. And I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. But yeah, if we were replacing Vooch with somebody like Drummond, it would definitely hurt. But it really depends on what. Now, if they're more defensive-minded center, that's fine, but they still have to have passing and some offensive ability. Good thing Bill was out. Well, keep in mind, even if Bradley Beal was in, it changes the shot profile for the team. Like if Bill was in, Kuzma's not getting 18 shots more than likely in this game. Kristaps Porzingis, Morris definitely isn't taking all 13 of those shots if Bradley Beal was in this game. So it changes the game. It's not as simple. People try to oversimplify where it's like, oh, if you just insert Bradley Beal in, all of a sudden they would have won this game. They would have to play completely differently. Their whole offensive scheme would have changed. So thus, the Chicago Bulls' defensive scheme would have had to change. Now, you could say that there's a chance that would have happened, right? Just respectfully. But you can't just say just because Bradley Beal was out, like, oh, if he was in, the Bulls would have lost this game. People fail to realize how important Alex Caruso was to that championship Lakers team. Now, don't get me wrong. Jimmy did have a good game, but Alex made that man's life miserable. Oh, for sure. For sure. He hounded him all the whole game. Why? Mods! Get this damn things up out of here. Bathlord Payne says, if Drummond was the starting center, we would lose the assists, hockey assists, and just flat-out points. What Vooch does is way bigger than folks give him credit for. And you know what it is? It's people who honestly don't understand the game of basketball. It's really that. Like I said before, and I've told you guys this, you can always tell people who enjoy the game of basketball, people who break down the game of basketball maybe a little bit more, but the people who really not just watch, but really, really take in the game of basketball. You can tell the difference between those type of people all day long, and also the box score watchers. You can tell that. And people who don't actually watch this game and understand basketball really don't understand the benefit of Vooch. They don't understand how Patrick Williams, when he is being aggressive outside of, just his lack of aggression shooting wise, how important he is. Caruso as well. Like, people don't really, even Javonte, like people now this season really understand what Javonte brings because the energy is more palpable. But like people really last season didn't understand how Javonte helped this team. Another random question. No, I got to move on from that. Come on, Reginald. You killing me, bro. You definitely killing me. What type of seeding or playoff success will the Bulls need to have for them not to blow it up after this? They're not blowing it up. We talked about this. They're not blowing it up this offseason. They may retool, but it means, Lee James, let me ask you this. What do you mean by blow it up? Because when I hear blow it up, I feel like sell everything but the farm, right? But if you mean something different by blow up, let me know. But I think this, right? As long as the Bulls make the playoffs, and even if they get eliminated first round again, I don't think that this front office is necessarily going to blow it up. I think they're going to retool either way. I think either way, they may look at the Vooch position, see what to do there. I think they're going to have a drastically improved bench. I do think that Derrick Jones Jr. isn't going to be back. I do think Tony Bradley for sure as hell ain't going to be back. I think the more than likely, and this isn't a thing against Kobe, but I think Kobe's probably not going to be back because I've said before, at that point, Kobe White, you're paying $95 million in just guards if you re-sign Kobe White and IO. So just because of that, I don't think Kobe White's coming back. And then I think this team looks to add some size in those other spots. So I think we're going to be in for a major retooling, but I don't think they're going to blow it all up per se. That's what it means. By blow it up, I mean trading the agents, stars, Vooch and DeMar. This is what I say. To trade both Vooch and DeMar, keep in mind, Vooch would be by the trade deadline because he's an unrestricted free agent. If the Bulls move on from both Vooch and DeMar between now and the beginning of next season, I would say that the Bulls have had to miss the playoffs or barely made it in as a play-in and then get eliminated in the play-in tournament. That's how I feel. Bathor Payne says, this offseason will actually be super important only because it gets us to right the ship. There will not be a big blow up. The core, unless Vooch gets moved, is set. I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I think in looking to improve the team, they may see what they can get out there. Again, DeMar DeRozan will be an expiring contract this offseason. I think they may look to see what is out there. Not necessarily saying that they're going to be actively calling to try to trade DeMar, but they're probably going to be listening to deals. Well, great point here from Bathrow Payne. This may be another year of finding bargain vets as well as the youngins get better. Well, keep in mind, I've said this. If the Bulls, for example, don't re-sign Vooch, don't re-sign Kobe, don't re-sign Goran, don't re-sign Derrick Jones Jr., delay the re-signing of Ayo Dosunmu, the Bulls can have, I have to go back and look. I think it's upwards of $15 million in true cap space, and they'll still have their mid-level exception. So the Bulls could have some considerable spending power to add some key pieces to this team. I don't know if they go that route, but I'm saying that they could have that ability too. So we'll see. We'll see. Don't expect a busy offseason from the Bulls, but we'll see. Seeing how the front office gave Billy an extension, I feel like we're going to re-sign Vooch instead of trading him, or maybe we'll let him walk. I don't know. If they let Vooch just walk, that's. I hope they don't do that. I hope that they have to make the decision on Vooch, I think, beforehand. Yes, he is. That's why I said next offseason he'll be an expiring contract, Vern. Haize, would you like to keep Kobe White at the Bulls next season based on what you've seen from this? It depends on the price. If Kobe White is willing to sign for $7 to $9 million, I think you try to keep Kobe White. I think you try to keep Kobe. You sign him for a 1+1 or maybe a 2+1 deal and see if he becomes. Keep in mind, Kobe's still only 22. Has he turned 23 yet? Kobe White's still extremely young. So if you can get him at that price, considering he's improved, but he hasn't improved to the way that he should be demanding $12 to $15 million. If he all of a sudden turns it on, he could get that. Kobe White just turned 22 in February. So I think that if you can re-sign Kobe for between $7 and $9 million, that still would put you over $90 million in just guards. But I think you may consider it depending on if the way that he's improved this season stays consistent. All right, a couple more questions, then I got to shut it down so I can go live over on Locked On Bulls. Is there a player available in this upcoming offseason that's better than Vooch? What price is too high to re-sign? Well, keep in mind, it's not necessary. You don't necessarily have – a player could be a little bit worse than Vooch, but depending on how they play, you can get better out. You can get more out of them. They can fit better on the team. So I think it's not necessarily about finding a player – better than Vooch, like outright. It's about finding, if you do decide to move on for Vooch, it's deciding to find a player that fits better in what you envision this team being. Even that, it's still going to be difficult. With Vooch, Vooch can easily get between $12 and $15 million out on the open market. So, hey, is everyone always saying Bulls need a consistent three-point shooter, including myself, but realistically, who's out there that the Bulls could acquire? Zach and Kobe shot when going down this year are good as any. Yeah, but that's the thing. Zach, you expect to be consistent. He's been pretty consistent over his time here at the Bulls. Kobe just has not been consistent. So betting on consistency for Kobe White is hard to do. As far as who's out there that the Bulls could acquire, it really depends. I'd have to sit back and go over everything and look and see who's also in the Bulls area that they can actually trade for as far as salary wise, but there are some people out there. Shay, thank you for smartening me up when it comes to rim protection, because I always thought that you had to block shots to be a good rim protector, but you proved me. Yeah, don't feel bad, because that's everybody. When people hear rim protection, they think shot blocking. Shot blocking and rim protection don't always necessarily shot blocking is always rim protection, but not all rim protection is shot blocking, meaning you can also protect the rim by playing good enough defense to keep the other players from getting to the rim. So that is a form of rim protection that I think that when the Bulls are playing well, that they do, right? No, that's a silly trade in my opinion. In my opinion, that's a silly trade. Is Miles Turner a better fit? Offensively, maybe you can make that argument. He is a better shot blocker, but like I said, Miles Turner is a terrible passer. So as much as we say the ball slows down when DeMar's on the court, you throw in another non-passer out there, that can get ugly. That can really get ugly. So I don't necessarily say he's a better fit than Vooch. It could be, like, you never know when he actually gets to the team how he could grow his game, but at least on paper, I'm not saying it's necessarily a better fit. He isn't the passer. Vooch unlocks our offense. We are a poor half-court offense, so Vooch opens us up. Absolutely. That's also what she said. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. We're going to go live over on Locked On Bulls. If this is your first time, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel before you leave as we try to get closer to 10,000 subscribers. Make sure you're following the show at Bulls Central Pod. That's on every social media platform that we're on. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, you can leave us a text and or voicemail. The number to do so for our Saturday mailbag episodes is 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls, see red. Love you guys.